Greetings. So I'm getting more messages that I'm creating in this moment. Might as well show it while I'm here. Get my creative flow on. I realize too, spirit is like, as we get more in tune with our spiritual essence and who we are, and the magic of who we are, that will be expressed. Had not we experienced the darkness and the pain of who we are, this will be expressed more in a holistic way through our art, our music, our creativity. You see, that's honoring this, seeing that mirror through our inner guidance work, whatever it is you want to call it, the magic. Acknowledging the shadow will be expressed in the physical. So Spirit also wanted me to talk about this to the woman, to the mothers and fathers. I'm going to speak on both because, again, divine feminine and masculine go hand in hand. Oh, these two colors, look at that, like royalty. But anywho, this goes back to the filter, like to the mothers. Like I expressed to you about how the unfolding of the energies, what it has, this is the mental awareness that is going to affect all of humanity and everyone collectively. And it goes both with the spiritual and physical aspect of who we are, individually and collectively. So by Mama, Big Mama coming in, which represents the universal source, and she comes in, she steps in. We know the Father to be like logic, knowing, the protector in a sense. So we have to look at when that was removed. And then it shows me how when the Father, the Spirit, was removed from the tribe, from the family, then who could the daughter, let's say if a mother had a daughter, who could a daughter go to? Like, what was her protection? Who would she go to for protection, for guidance in a sense? Because again, father and daughter represents the spiritual aspects, which is a reflection of daughter being a reflection of the mother, and then the father being a reflection of the son. So it's like, who do, in essence, do the child or children, and mainly like the daughter representing the spirit, where the value system is dependent on, because she's a reflection of the mother. Who does she in turn goes to when she's looking for that security, that protection, that what's the word? I was about to say affirmation, but it's another word, but like to affirm things too. Like she knows that dad is there in a sense. So that I can see how the dysfunction or the deception around this whole system, again, when you look at the governmental system, when you look at the system, how everything has been, being when the father was removed, mama now had to depend and look towards a system for protection. She looked to the system, the money, the governmental aid, or even like when you look at the police system and all this stuff, governmental, all these things centered around a false perception of what really protection is. She looked towards these things to protect her. And see, due to the fact that the man being removed, the father being removed, the spirit of the family, the protector, it then caused her to smother her son. And because of that, then when, let's say, for those, again, I give you an analogy, like let's say, something happened with someone's father, then he was in the prison system. So then when he gets out, again, this man knows nothing about anything but that system of being treated like an animal or whatever it is. This is just an analogy, and gets out or whatever it is. And then he comes and he tries to be a part of that family dynamic. See, by a part of that mother, that father not being there, the mother, if she had a son and or a daughter, but let's say particularly had a son, in essence, by the son being a reflection of the father, she has smothered his son. And so when the father steps in, being that he wasn't there to protect them, representing the spirit, then there becomes a deflection. There becomes a tension, or it goes back to the root which has been ignored. It goes back to the root of all of this, and until the mother acknowledges she has just as a part in this as the father, and then the son seeing all of this happen, the son naturally is going to protect the mother, because again the mother has been the one that has been there present physically. Again, the mother represents the physical aspect and the son represents the physical. So again, naturally the mother is a protector for the son. She is naturally a guardian, but it's so much that again it's like the trauma that has been programmed and instilled, and this has happened so much of it in the Americas. We have to see again, when you go to the root of everything, you have to see how this has happened, not only to a people, but throughout humanity. And see, when a system has created, or there was a system installed, or these things were put there to keep that deception, that manipulation, this shit has been built on people that are, they don't even understand and understand who we are. It was all created to keep people that have this connection to source, to spirit, to keep that aspect of what it means to honor the divine feminine and masculine aspect of who we are, and what that divine, what that royal energy represents. So this, when mama doesn't value herself, this has put women in competition with their daughter. This is why you see the jealousy, and all this, this spiritual warfare when it comes on thinking that your daughter is separate from you. And you see in certain family dynamics where the mother, again, goes back to when the father has been removed, the protector of the family. This has happened through ancestral lineages. And so when the mother has a daughter, she easily pushes her out. And that goes into the fact of how I said one on previous videos, by that father being removed plays so much, is so important in the importance of the value of the daughter, which again represents the divine feminine within us all, which represents also the future foundations of what the matriarchal is and what instill, what it will represent. So this is why you see so much focus on the women, the little girls, and so many things like that. Yes. So what happens is again, when you see this competition, all that independence, standing on your own, these women have been in that energy. That's because that is a wounded masculine within them. A part of them, even if they don't accept it and acknowledge it, that has something to do with the fact of what is their relationship with their mother, and then in told, was it their father there present, and then even if wasn't a father there, some of what people don't talk about is that there were physical abuse, verbal abuse, and then this has passed on from generations and generations. Again, people were not conscious and had conscious relationships. They were, a lot of women or mothers, new mothers, or moms, and what I've witnessed is that I've seen the neglect within the grandmother, within herself. And so what she does, she projects her fears and insecurities, or whatever you want to call it, the neglect that she feels, that the abandonment that she feels she has within herself, onto her daughter. Then her daughter has a child, whether it be a son or if it's a son. And see, this cycle has continued. If her mother don't get along, and let's say the father wasn't there, they continue that cycle to where again the mother begins to smother the son. This doesn't help him into becoming, the father that he should be. And so we have to see how this shit has happened like especially in the Americas or globally. Humanity, like this is when you see all of these people, this whole system now, people being forced to see their darkness. People, even the Americans have to face their fucking dark side, their shadow too. The leaders, everybody, people have to face the thing about this North Node in Taurus and this South Node in Scorpio. It's like these are polarities. These are zodiac signs that represents Scorpio representing transformation, just darkness, secrets, rebirth. So this is going to happen systematically, and then Taurus representing the foundation, the value system, what we value the most, materials in a sense of the physical aspect. It represents polarity. Scorpio is like the dark, and then the dark aspect of who we are. The Taurus being the physical, the light. So we have to see how this happens in our lives. That's why we're being forced. Spirit is forcing us to go within, but also to see past the illusions, the deception, the manipulation. This is why the value system is going. The value system being so much again externally, the false narrative of what Taurus represents, which is everything to do with the value within ourselves. See that's when Scorpio comes in. The transformation, the rebirth. All those things with again the secrets coming out. All of the skeletons out of the closet, people. There's nothing that can be hidden. That's what the spirit represents. The veil. It's been lifted. There's no more hiding. Whew. So this is why everything is unfolding as it is. This is the rebirth happening within us with the Scorpio, the death to the old, what we once knew, what was the value, everything we thought that was more valuable, the death to that. Then the Taurus is showing like what do we value most? What do we our legacy? What is our true? What does it really mean to value something? So you're gonna see that across the board again. This whole, I'm independent, I can stand da 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 da. That is because again of how the patriarchal has affected everyone, and how it has this false narrative around what again a woman should be. That's why you see these entertainers and all these people pushing this image, pushing this narrative. That shit is done. Pushing this narrative of, oh yeah, I'm this and I'm that. That is not the divine. That is not the divine. What the divine mother represents. That has everything to do with holistically. Because what they won't tell you is like somewhere down in their lineage or whatever it is, they too have experience, just as people in their ancestral lineages, in those entertainment industry, music and all that other stuff. You'll see eventually they're going to talk about it. These women have been forced upon. I know people that, I was a model and being in this, being a part of industry, being a part of certain things, people will try to, like they said, the devil will offer you things. People will try to get you to, this whole misconception of, oh, you got to give this to obtain that. That's not the divine. Because when now we're seeing the spiritual connection to where we're secure within ourselves, I'm naturally a giver, but now I can give from a place again where it flows and it's actually giving birth to something from a place of love. See, the old way was giving from a place that again, was it really giving to receive something in return? Or was it just trying to, was it given from a place of unfulfillment, low vibrational way of, being, or, and then that whole, it gets so much deeper, man. It's, wow. It's so much deeper. Like, wow. Everything is happening, but this is why you see the competition in the ego with the daughter. You know what I'm saying? I see it. I see it on the platform. I'm like, wow. Now I see why the whole focus around the woman's womb, the gyrating and certain stuff. Again, this is stuff I too had to experience. I had to go through my own journey with this. I mean, trust me. Y'all know, some of y'all know, like, oh, mamas being jealous of their own daughters because of the men or who they get and or just their platform. Y'all, this shit is, yeah. Somebody got to speak on it. And even then, by the man not being there, again, then the father, then the son, again, by the mother smothering him and not allowing him to become who he is. However, her behavior is portrayed, and she is teaching him. She is showing him through her femininity to what it is to attract and to accept from women, from all femininity that comes into his life. It's not about who's to blame. It's about acceptance and accountability to this shit. Then that's when the healing begins. And so you gotta, bruh. Oh wow. Okay, let me get this out. Look at the whole value system. If the whole misconception of, well, you see this false narrative of what the zodiacs really represent, such as, let's say, Taurus. Oh, I'm a Taurus, materialism and all, they like all this and all. Okay, the spiritual aspect has nothing to do with that. So when you see realizing the value within yourself, this has to do with balancing of energies. And we have to see again how the past up to this very moment for us to come into this wholeness of who we are had its purpose and served its purpose. And see, why continue to carry those memories? It's like that's what happened in our childhood. It's like a memory card. Like, that's what programming is. Your body is like a how can I say, what's the word? Your body is like a receiver of information. You don't really forget. You can say forgive and forget. It's about accepting it and then now using that energy and gathering that and then creating. It's like the body has a virus or something that you need to get rid of. You got to exercise it or use it, transmute it, or however you want to say it, into something new. This is a part of the ascension we're experiencing within ourselves and collectively. So we have to see how the past has shaped this present moment. And then now when we acknowledge that, we can reshape and create a new narrative. Some of us are part of we're a part of that future by us acknowledging this. That's unwritten. That's a part of the unknown. We are the part that's, rewriting that, or in the sense of embracing that unknown. That's what really scares a lot of people right now, because they're not going to know what to do on these platforms when people are not giving their energy to the ego. When they know, again, you have to see the false value system. Get back on that. Okay, thank you, mama. Get back on that, like how the value system centering around even money, or centering around the whole concept of housing, the whole concept of these platforms being used through manipulation just for their attention. All that shit is done. People, you about to see it. It's done. All the attention being focused, like just like that God complex people want to say, like one person, that is done. Empowerment. You gotta be confident in being empowered with yourself to empower others. Individually, you gotta do that for yourself. And so you have to see and be aware how that there's a purging of. You have to realize that, by us being in this awareness now, we are being like you said, high vibrational being, or being of light in a sense, walking in that. You have to be aware that the resistance that come with that, because you shake up the room when you go places. I've acknowledged it. It's not so much of being alone. You're all one with yourself, and all in one is one with all. It's more in the sense of now you being aware of this. And so that security, we have to realize that a lot of what we've experienced was so focused externally, the value, seeking validation, seeking, acceptance from just because of what, what one has materialistically, which has nothing to do with wealth. And so that will now people are becoming aware how they've been misled. Ooh, what's that quote? It says a lion, sheep that are led by a lion is more powerful than a tribe of lions led by a sheep. Woo! That's so powerful though, because that lion walking in his power can bring a more awareness to those sheep. Because sheep really look down if you don't know that. They all walk and bump into each other. But then seeing a lot of lions that are led by one sheep, woo! Y'all better see it, man. But I'm just sharing this with y'all. But I'm just letting you know, like, what I becoming aware of, how I can see how the man, being that when the Father's spirit was removed, again, this energy, and then physically the Father being removed, called when the mama starts smothering the dark, when the mama starts smothering the son, he then sees how when there are men coming in, they don't truly value their mother, because let's say the mother has been hoarding and seeing that a part of the father being removed, that creates distance, or when the father is removed, that removes the divine masculine in the father within herself, and seeing how he has been treated on a world stage, seeing how he's been killed, certain things that have happened to him, that begins to make her smother her son. So she wants to do everything to protect him, the son, which represents the power. So then when you have a mother having a daughter, you see this, like, she pushes the daughter out quickly, because again, because of what she has subconsciously feared, and the false beliefs and all these things she had received, has caused her to live in that survival, in that fear, and then gain and grasp this concept of what the family dynamic is. And you see that with a lot of our mothers in the past, they've taken on this concept as that's a part of their life, which is the suffering, which is the pain and the struggle. They take it on that concept like it's a part of their lifestyle here. That is done. It is done. That old way is done. No more. This is why we are ancestors' fulfillment. Because when we rise and we're accountable, when we speak about this, then we as the men, as the fathers now, see the value in the mother, because what we've experienced, the pain and the struggle with the matriarchal, with the divine feminine, allows us to see that, to awaken the son within us, to see the value in the daughter is for me to also honor the value in the mother, because what I come from. Again, to the men and mothers, this is why you've been seeing the false narrative of what the value really means. This is why a lot of men, when you see them, the music they listen to, oh, I gotta have a lot of money, or I gotta have a lot of this to get her. When really deep down, even though the mama or the mother's not saying this, she knows that the divine feminine knows a man that doesn't mean anything. Because truthfully, everything begins with the mama, the woman. Everything begins with her. We have to see, like, through our lifetime, through our lifespan, and I realize this is that how our women, the woman, have been speaking to the men, cursing them, putting spells on them, because again, the tongue is power in the tongue. And see, it goes to the fact of like this value system on how they looked at the world and how the world viewed them. If the value system was more externally and physically, and you got to have all of this, and your body got to look a certain way, you got to be a certain way, then how can the mother, the woman, really see the value in who she is, which is the daughter complex of who she is within her? She has to see the value within herself, for anyone can see the value. And your value is not what you obtain here on in this earth realm, because you cannot take it with you. All of which the universal mother gives us all these things. People, even these people in these high places where y'all think they're high or whatever, they were given this shit for us now, for the divine feminine to be restored, for us now to bring forth that balance. They were given. It may sound crazy. No, they were given. And what did they do? They abused it. They abused it. For a daughter or a mother to be out in the street, certain things, for this to happen when there's an abundance, the universal mother is an abundant mother. She is the giver of life. There's a saying like, what you give you give a man, and that pretty much ends with that. Something. This is my perception. But what you give a woman, she multiplies. You give her a seed, you give her food, she's gonna plant it. I mean, she's gonna give you a meal. If you give her, a seed, a baby, she'll give you a baby. You give her a house, she gives you a home. But we have to see how much pain and struggle the woman has been because of neglect of the daughter, the divine feminine, the matriarchal. And then how they have been treated from the world perspective. I'm not saying, like, trust me, they're all now come on now, all women, we know it goes deeper than that. We all know who's been doing with what, dabbling in certain things. I'm not gonna get on that, but everything is exposed right now. But what I'm saying is, this is a part of the holistic way. This is the healing that's coming forth. So, yeah, it's truly divine. But this is why, again, if you're wondering why a lot of these men, again, being a displacement and the removal of certain things have been trickled down, has caused them to be in this, it's like abandoned. As to the mama, when the father's spirit was removed, as to the mama feeling like she was abandoned by the protector, which is the father, as to the father being abandoned by the mama. That's why, again, we have these connections, and I'm realizing that, like, when certain things have happened, this is why naturally man is, drawn to the womb of the woman, or to you, because your energy naturally through your womb, you pull. I mean, yeah, you pull. Is it pull? Yeah, pull, and then we push. It's energy. It's like, right, it's deeper. Like, we have the staff, so we push, and then you are the pull. And so we got to see how, again, this has passed through the womb of these experiences with life. How the regeneration of how all this is happening, the regeneration of that trauma, that pain, that regeneration of that trauma and pain have been the continuance from the origins of the woman. For those that don't know, the original, we talk about the origins of the woman, which, again, the darker melanated woman, because she is the giver of all life, because she can create all, I guess they call it the mitochondria gene, but she creates all life. But this goes into, I tell even women of different shade, it has not so much to do with the, different shades. When you look at the race, it's humanity. But also, for certain women to see what other women go through, you need to sit down with her. Same with men. You need to sit down and talk about these things. This how we heal and move forward. Some people, we don't really sit down and talk about this and put it out on. You want to put it on the table? Put it out on the table. Put it on the table what you really have went through with your mother, with your matriarch, with your femininity. And then women, you talk about what you have went through with men. And then honor that. And then sometimes it's not, and that's how I had to learn, because we're, due to the fact of how, it's so deep. Like how, if I gotta have all of this, then I gotta create with her, knowing that there's no value in that. So we don't went out here, created this life. Then mama, the woman, the mother is mad at the man because he's walking out. Because truthfully, she didn't see no value in herself. So how could he have honestly seen value in her when there's no value in the material? Y'all don't hear me though, man. This is why mama has stepped in for us to see the value in the spirit. This is why now we are with these whole twin souls, or all this shit, these whole concepts. It's for us to know what it is to attract holistic partners, because we had to know what it was and go through this process of the pain and the struggling to get to this holistic place within ourselves first, to know what it is to be secure within ourselves first. You have to first acknowledge what the tree, when you look at the tree, I can say we all are trees, but you have to know, had I not known what it was to go to these places and go to, spirit guided me to these places in different, around the world and in the country, where I'm at with my roots, and seeing like going to the depths of like seeing how, this is deep. Wow. Seeing how even the surnames that have been passed on, being that how our people were in captivity, being of how some people that looked like me, that were even darker shades, had some people that looked like me in darker shades in captivity. Some people were shipped in, some people were shipped out, but again, you got to realize people that were shipped here. Because a lot of this goes back into the depths of like, when you want to learn more about, really to the depths of what so-called people that came here also had their own people in captivity. Yes. This is why, again, some of you are here in the so-called Americas that was birthed here. You see, that's why it doesn't really matter the shade. Because you're going to see ancestrally or through lineages that somebody played a certain part in something to how you even came to be. Thick hair. Okay, that had to be somebody from somewhere else, because I realized in some of my other, I have other family members, some of them got straight hair, like of indigenous people here. Some of them are dark, rich dark. And then even to lighter, I know people that are lighter, but then they bone structures of those like of chiefs of, that were originally here, bone. And then we start to talk about stuff that we've experienced. And then you start to realize like their people. This is spiritual warfare. Their people could have probably held my people captive, either out of fear or either out of something to where, greed, or this whole system built on this deception and manipulation. I'm telling you, it goes deep, man. Then it goes back to the matriarchal. A lot of those women being forced on and all that, man, a lot of this stuff is still here. We're still on this land. It cannot be ignored. I've been places here. For those of you not familiar, in a place of like certain what make the South, or what they call the South, so significant. I just like to say this is part of this land. It's because a lot of this shit began here. This is what this is what is ignored. They talk about like, oh, it didn't begin in the sense of like all this stuff, like what you call, what as slavery began. No, a lot of this happened globally, but in a sense of like, so much of why this land is so significant is because a lot of stuff grows here. A lot of stuff was collected and used for greed and value. There's places here, gold mines. There's places here, there's rivers and lakes where gold flakes are in. There are places here where pineapples grew in Georgia. I'm telling you, there's places here where, again, it was the minerals here. You have to see, again, how the value system, how externally people have used that which, they saw value in, and then people began to grasp this whole concept and then use that and kept humanity in this spell of thinking like this is true value. No, it's not. That's where Mama has stepped in, because people have abused their power in that. If you rape the people, you have raped the land. And so the value of what Daughter Earth is that we're restoring her value of who she really is and what our ancestors stood on in their truth. They had spiritual and divine connections. They were able to see, who was coming to invade. They didn't see it as that, but they knew, they accepted these people. Then in tune, a lot of people gave up or betrayed a lot of people. This is what's been happening. This is spiritual warfare tribally. A lot of people, you got to see how the betrayal began, even with through the matriarchal, through women, through the patriarchal too, through the divine masculine. Bro, a lot of this connection you've been attracting is because it's through ancestral healing. You thinking it's just you and this person? No, a lot of that shit you healing is really it's bigger than you. And a lot of us are ancestors' fulfillment this time, because we come to make peace with the past, move forward, and move into evolution, and to elevate that. A lot of that other shit was going on, like that's the distraction. People are going to take themselves out. They already dug themselves a hole. What the so-called Americas and these people not telling you is that they know that what they've done is that system is done. They've abused their power. This is what they're not talking about. We're elevating in a more holistic way. That's why the focus is individual. I've been seeing across the board, man. I've been seeing, you look in your family, you see betrayal. You have, in the past, you have seen how people have betrayed the betrayal or the jealousy. This is spirits. This is, wickedness that's been going on. Until some of us now are the ones that are to bring forth the light when we acknowledge it within ourselves. Whew. Yeah, man, I'm telling you, bro, it's deeper than that color shit. You got black and white, but you got different shades in between. My ancestors, like I tell myself, red man. I got ancestors, spirit guides. Like, what? When I was doing my travel, spirit was taking me through a journey of what my ancestors have experienced, or what I have experienced maybe in other lifetimes, to see what it is to bring forth a more conscious awareness of, of what it is we really have experienced. Through my own individual journey, I've been going places where I had to go to museums again. I've been telling one of my other cousins, I'm like, nigga, bro, I'm like, bro, they put that, where you think they get that shit from in the museums, or a lot of that stuff? They had to get it from somewhere. So you got to really look at, like, again, man, it's so much, but it's, whoo. I share this, man, because I had to look at myself. When I was called, oh, you crazy, oh, you da 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 da. No, I was gaining my awareness. The divine was giving me shit. And the same people that call you crazy gonna be this, sometimes be the same ones that, man, you know what? Some may come apologize, some may try to offer you these things, whatever it is. None of that truly matters to me. But it's more of, we're given, the universal mother, she gives us this knowledge. You have to see how a lot of stuff been kept from people to keep them in this mental, imprisonment. Now we're out of that. That's what the spirit steps in. This Aquarian age, the golden age, I like to say, or the age of information, or the all things that were hidden now are to be exposed. Everyone is not going to be accepting of these things and accept it like we do. That's what you have to realize on your own individual path. There's no more convincing. There's no saving no one. You are your own hero. it's in the sense of like you know what you're gonna be called to do. That's all I gotta say. You know. But it's now, man, it's I look at it like these ever changing moments is ushering something unknown. Even some people they wanna know, but they don't know. It's not gonna be given to people that want to abuse their power or abuse what they've been doing. And now the head is the tail. People that have, those that know are in tune. People that have abused certain things, you're going to see certain things happen to people because this is a part of their divine judgment. You got to see how the system, again, this whole system was created, or certain things to where people, you see the world, humanity so focused on gain. And then people want, you got to be jealous and envy just because this person, man, that has nothing to do with this, with value, really. And I had to see that in connections. Because I knew I was uniquely who I was all the time. And that same thing, what you're going to see, the same thing that your individuality is going to stand out more than anything in these moments. Being who you, be you. Be you for you. Be you who the divine chose you to be. I told I never gave a fuck about being like nobody else. Because even when I was trying to get into that trend and trying to be like this and look like this and accept this, it would never feel. That was my spirit of discernment. It would never feel right. It would never feel like it was in alignment to what I'm doing. Trying to convince people to be the same, live the same. Oh, man. Y'all don't see the man. Even like this whole thing, even around art, like that's another thing too. I never wanted no. People called me crazy because I was doing my artwork out there, giving it for free, giving, because something within me was like I had no attachment to it. And then sometimes I didn't even want to ask for people to give me something. I would just, if they felt, they did it, but it was more the legacy. Me giving brought me more joy. Then I had to become aware of certain things, but that doesn't mean I still wasn't receiving. I just received knowledge or certain things in different ways than other people. I never cared to put my shit in no museum. Everyone is uniquely done for a reason for you to stand out in this world. And there's going to be resistance with that. But guess what? Your security is within. It has nothing to do. That's the importance of coming into this awakening and awareness. It has nothing to do with how people view you here. You came here for you. So it's like, man, it's beautiful, man. Watch, like all these people had to be removed because they're not supposed to go with you. They got to see within themselves and be secure within themselves. And see, again, we're letting go of this false narrative of what we thought or assumed life should be or how it's supposed to go. Oh, man, the magic of mama, I'm telling these are, man, let me tell you something. How amazing it is now to see the woman now, honor who she truly is. I was realizing in connections, I realized how it was giving birth to the things I wanted not to accept, like the moon aspect, like the emotions or whatever it is, the trauma. It was giving birth to that. Then I now know I was now using that to do what I'm doing now on this platform in my art or whatever it is. It was giving birth to my creativeness. Why would I want to be in something like it sounds crazy? Why would I want to go work and none of that stuff is fulfillment to me? Trying to go do something for work for somebody. Man, now I'm starting to see now with myself that the gifts, again, I said this in other videos, your gifts and what you've been given, you standing on that truth, standing in that love, and then that which was given to you. Again, we're no longer in that old patriarchal system. That was a part of the discipline. We're now in the matriarchal, where I can see now in embracing the unknown, the magic of mama, the now she steps in to take care of our wounds and to take care of all things beyond our capabilities. Woo! And that comes from the magical aspect of who we are. This comes from a soul, the spirit of who we are. The unseen, the channeling of the energies, the connecting with our ancestors and spirit guides and the ancients. Like, to see now, like this, what now they're guiding us in the sense of like honoring that darkness, and then again, what I'm saying is like we have to see like how some of our ancestors or past loved ones that did maybe master certain things in other lifetimes, or didn't fulfill certain things. We are their fulfillment. So you being that is like a part of you being that rebellious spirit, part of you walking in, coming into this awareness of who you are, and standing in that and honoring that until you're no longer in this, bodysuit, whatever you want to call it. But again, that's why certain things are going to be removed, because again, they're not at that awareness. They're not on that frequency or timeline that you're on. Some of you will know you're in that power, you're in that place to speak unapologetically, authenticity, be that authentic person. I got some more stuff coming for y'all, man. Just know, keep going. Being a part of our ancestors' fulfillment is like, keep going. Keep going. If something was removed, it was for you to keep going. Never give up. If you're gonna give in to the essence of who you are. Surrender to that. But never give, in a sense of not never giving up. It's like you don't gotta quit. In the sense of like on yourself. We're letting go so much of that survival and all that stuff rooted in all that pain or whatever. Now it's for the gain now. Where those that will see, spirit is now ushering those that coming from a genuine place or a high vibrational place to help, to give, and it may seem crazy to some, but it's not. You've come into this alignment to where now people can come in, and you may feel they will add to rather than you thinking, assuming someone's coming to take away. Or they will come and enhance it and elevate it for the greater good. All right, peace, shalom.